Shalom. Can you hear me? Beseder.
You have to say it like you mean it.
Beseder. So is it working?
We'll find out.
Yeah, it works. It's like 40 seconds, 30 seconds off, but look.
Beseder.
Oh, that's fine. Awesome.
It works.
All right, so you'll delete that one?
Yeah, it's just live.
Okay, but can you stop it and start an actual service?
Yeah.
Okay.
You want me to stop it and start in 5 minutes?
Because that's not really the service.
That's the service.
At 7 o'clock. If that is you don't have to. Just leave it running. Thanks everybody for being patient with our testing. We're going to leave this running. I'm so glad it worked. All right. Now if we can get this to work. Oh, goodness gracious. Me oh my. Hi! How are you? I'm so glad to see you in person. I know. It's been a little crazy. Are you going to be able to come on Sunday to open house? I don't know. I'm hoping I might be able to go kind of like friends. Well, if not, it's not like we're not here and you don't know how to find it. Yeah, this is true. Okay, so Facebook changed everything again. I know, right? I'm not very happy with them. Let's hope that this works. The most important thing is that our friends at home can see. Does that work? Okay, that's not going to work. Okay. I think this is going to work. Smart you. Let's see. Can people people can see me and that's all that matters. And we're on here a little bit early, so it works. And I'm going to fan myself a little bit because it's hot. Woo, woo, woo. Let's see. Jennifer. I do not know what time it is any longer. I see we have a few friends on there. Adina, Shabbat Shalom. I think we're getting ready to start. Can I have a time check? 7 on the dot. Wonderful. Well, friends, I am so glad that you are here tonight. I have my trusty stool that my buddy Alex left up here for me just in case my ankle decides not to play ball. We are going to turn to page 11. When I keep Shabbat, God watches over me. It is a sign forever between God and me. Ki eshmera Shabbat. Ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 Shmera Shabbat El Yishmereni Ki Shmera Shabbat El Yishmereni Oti Leomead Beno Veni Oti Leomead Beno Veni Ya la la bear with me now that oh, no, hang on. Are we still live? I hope. Okay. All right. That will teach Mara Stephanie to get very excited and bang on the amud. I will clap my hands instead. Okay. Goodness, what a way to start Shabbat. I am grateful that my hands can make noise. Page 12, Lechu Niranana. Lechu Niranana l'Adonai, Nariya Litzur Yishenu, Nekadma Fanav Betoda, Bizmirot Nariya Lo. Page 13, Shir Adonai. Ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la la ya la la ya la 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 ya la la ya la 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 ya la la ya la la ya la 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 ya la 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 ya Shiru Ladonai, Shechadash, Shiru Ladonai, Kol Haaretz, Shiru Ladonai, Baruch Shemo, Basru miyom liyom Yeshuato, Sapru v'goyim kivodo, B'cho ha'amim nifleotav, Ki gadol Adonai, Umula me'od, No I'll call Elohim, la 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 I'd like to invite Jennifer Richard to come up and light the Shabbat candles, please.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu lahadlik ner shel Shabbat. Amen.
Thank you. Well, I do not see Rabbi Garfine this evening, so we are going to hope that he is feeling well, and we'll go ahead and do Kiddush, and I promise to do all of the lifting. If I forget, you tell me. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav, v'ratzavanu, v'shabbat kodsho, v'yava uvratzon hinchilanu, zikaron lemase v'reshit, ki hu yom techila lemikrae kodesh, zecher litziat mitzrayim, kivanu v'acharta, v'yotanu kidashta, mikohamim, v'shabbat kodshecha, v'yahava uvratzon, hinchaltanu, Baruch atah Adonai, mekadesh haShabbat. Amen. L'chaim. Oh, Alex put real wine in there. I'm like a B'nai Mitzvah kid. So now that we have the Shabbos lights in our sanctuary, bringing that light in, we'll turn now to page 14 for Psalm 97, more light for all the righteousness in the room. Or zaru ala tzadik, o Yisrael lev simcha. Or zaru ala tzadik, o Yisrael lev simcha. Simchut tzadikim, Adonai, Adonai, leotu b'zecher kodsho. Simchut tzadikim, Adonai, Adonai, leotu b'zecher kodsho. Or zaru ala tzadik, o Yisrael lev simcha. Or zaru ala tzadik, o Yisrael lev simcha. Page 17 at the bottom, Roman move. Roman move, Adonai Eloheinu v'eshtachavu lehakodsho. Roman move, Adonai Eloheinu v'eshtachavu lehakodsho. Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu Roman move.
Adonai Eloheinu Romemu. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu Ve'ishtachavu le'hakodsho. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu Ve'ishtachavu le'hakodsho. We'll turn to page 20 for Lechadodi. Lechadodi likrot kala penei Shabbat nekavelo. Shamor sorry, my bad. It's the wine, I promise. I'm so sorry. Let's start at verse 1, shall we? Shamor v'zachor v'dibur echad ishmianu el ha'meyuchad Adonai echad u'shemo echad shemo tiferet v'litila lecha dodi likrat kala penei Shabbat nekabela. Likrat Shabbat lechu v'necha ki mekor haberacha merosh mikadem nesucha sof maseh b'mashavat tchila lecha dodi likrat kala penei Shabbat nekabela. Hitorari kiva orech kumi ori shir daberi kvod arayalayich nikla lecha dodi likrat kala penei Shabbat nekabela. Boi v'shalom ateret bala gam v'simcha u'v'tzola jochem unei am segula boi chala lecha dodi likrat kala penei Shabbat nekavela lecha dodi likrat kala penei Shabbat nekavela. You may be seated, friends. For those of you who weren't sure what was going on there, I love the tradition of people standing up at the end of Lechadodi. It just feels like we're honoring those final steps that the Shabbos bride comes in. But you are all welcome to sit down if you want. I just give you a little squeeze in my heart when I see you standing. Okay. Psalm 92, page 22, Mizmor Shir. Mizmor Shir liyom haShabbat tov leodot la'Adonai ulezamer l'shimcha elyon ulezamer l'shimcha elyon. Mizmor Shir liyom haShabbat tov leodot la'Adonai ulezamer l'shimcha elyon ulezamer l'shimcha elyon. Lehagid baboker chastacha ve'emunatcha balelot alei asor va'alei navel alei higayon bechinot. Mizmor Shir yom haShabbat tov leodot la'Adonai ulezamer l'shimcha elyon ulezamer l'shimcha elyon. מזמור שיר ליום השבת, טוב להודות לאדוני, ולזמר לשמך עליון, ולזמר לשמך עליון. כי שימחתני אדוני בפועלך, במעשה ידיך ארנן. מה גדלו מעשיך אדוני, מעולם כמחשבותיך. מזמור שיר ליום השבת, טוב להודות לאדוני, ולזמר לשמך עליון, ולזמר לשמך עליון. מזמור שיר ליום השבת, טוב להודות לאדוני, ולזמר לשמך עליון, ולזמר לשמך עליון. Chatzi Kaddish now on page 26. Yitkadah Shemei Rabbah, V'yamad Yivrach Yirutei V'yamlich Malchutei, B'chayechon u'v'yomechon u'v'chayedecho Beit Yisrael, Ba'gala u'v'zman kariv v'meru. Yeheshmei Rabbah mevorach, Le'olam olam me'amaya, Yitbarach, Yitbarach, V'yishtabach, V'yitbar, V'yitramam, V'yitnaseh, V'yitador, V'yitaleh, V'yithalal, Shmei D'Kodeshah. Le'ela min kol berchata v'shirata, Tushbechata v'nechemata, Damiran b'yama v'yimeru. Amen. Please rise now if you are willing and able. Turn to page 28 for the Baruch Hu. Seated, friends. Let's turn together to page 31 and read in the English at the bottom. This is an hour of change. Within it, we stand uncertain on the border of light. Shall we? I'll let you keep reading. Bear with us, friends. Having all sorts of fun technical difficulties today at Temple. the trick. Yes. Yes. We may be a little wonky, but that's okay. We're still moving. Where are we? Okay. Page 32, Ahavat Olam. Ahavat Olam, Beit Yisrael, Amcha Ahavta, Amcha Ahavta. Torah u'mitzvot, chukim u'mishpatim, otanu lemadeta, otanu lemadeta. Okein Adonai Eloheinu b'shachbeinu uvkumeinu nasiach bechukecha v'nismach b'divrei toratecha u'b'mitzvotecha le'olam va'ed ki hem chayenu v'yorech yameinu uvahem negeyom avalayla negeyom avalayla v'ahavatcha al tasir mimenu le'olamim baruch atah Adonai ohev amo Yisrael ohev amo Yisrael Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Va'ed Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavcha v'chol nafshecha u'b'chol me'odecha v'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher Anochi mitzavecha hayom al levavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam v'shivtecha b'veitecha u'v'lechtecha v'derech u'shochbecha uvkumecha u'kshartam le'ot ayadecha v'hayu l'totafot b'neinecha u'chtavtam al mezuzot beitecha u'visharecha leman tizkeru v'asitem et kol mitzvotai v'tem kedoshim le'elohechem ani Adonai Elohechem Asher hotzeti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim liot lachem le'Elohim ani Adonai Elohechem Adonai Elohechem Emet. Page 39. Let's read together at the top of the page in the English. Standing on the parted shores of history, we still believe what we were taught before ever we stood at Sinai's foot. That wherever we go, it is eternally Egypt, that there is a better place, a promised land, that the winding way to that promise passes through the wilderness, that there is no way to get from here to there except by joining hands and marching together. Page 40, Michamocha. La 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai mi chamocha ne'etar b'kodesh nora tehilot osefele nora tehilot osefele malchutecha ra'u v'necha bukei hayam nifdemu Ze'eli anu ve'amru, Ze'eli anu ve'amru, Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed, Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed. V'nemar ki fatah Adonai et Yaakov, v'golo mi'achazak mimenu, Baruch atah Adonai ka'al Yisrael. Page 43 at the top. Let's read together in English. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Adonai, help us to walk with good companions, to live with hope in our hearts and eternity in our thoughts, that we may lie down in peace and rise up waiting to do your will. Baruch atah Adonai haporesu kat shalom aleinu ve'al kol ha'am Yisrael ve'al Yerushalayim. Amen. Page 44. V'shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, lasot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam berit olam. V'shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, lasot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam berit olam. Beini uvein b'nei Yisrael, oti le'olam, oti le'olam. V'shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, lasot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam berit olam. Ki sheshet yamim asa Adonai, asa Adonai, et ha-shamayim ve'et ha'aretz. V'shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, lasot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam berit olam. Uvayom hashvi'i Shabbat vayinafash, Shabbat vayinafash, Shabbat vayinafash. V'shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, lasot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam berit olam. We'll turn now to the Amidah. We'll turn to page 46 and rise, please, if you are willing and able. Adonai sefatai titapu fi'agi tehilatecha. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei avotinu v'imotenu, Elohei Abraham v'Elohei Yitzchak v'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanurah, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, V'Konei Hakol, V'Zocher Chasei Avot V'Imahot, U'Mevi Geula Livnei Bneihem, Leman Shemo B'Yava, Melech Ozer Moshiach Magi. Baruch atah Adonai, Magin Abraham Bezrat Sarah. Atah Gibor le'olam Adonai, Mechayeh hakol atara v'hoshia. Morid hatah, Mechalkel chayim b'chesed, Mechayeh hakol berachamim rabim. Somech noflim v'rofeh chodim, Umatir asurim. Umekayem emunato l'shenei afar, michamocha bal gevurot umidom elav, melech memit umechayeh umatzliach Yeshua v'ne'eman atah l'chayot hakol. Baruch atah Adonai mechayeh hakol. kol. אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, וקדושים בכל יום יעלו חסלה. Baruch atah Adonai ha'el hakadosh. May these hours of rest and renewal open our hearts to joy and our minds to truth. May all who struggle find rest on this day. May all who suffer find solace. May all who hurt find healing on this day. May all who despair find purpose. May all who hunger find fulfillment on this day. And may this day fulfill its promise. Baruch atah Adonai Mekadesh Shabbat. Find favor, Adonai, our God, with your people Israel, and accept their prayer and love. May the worship of your people Israel always be acceptable. God, who is near to all who call, turn lovingly to your servants. Pour out your spirit upon us. Baruch atah Adonai, she'otcha levadecha b'yirah na'avod. Modim anachilach. Baruch atah Adonai, tov shilcha l'chaneh lahudot. Do not stop after beating the swords into plowshares. Don't stop. Go on beating and making musical instruments out of them. Whoever wants to make war again will have to turn them into plowshares first. You may be seated, friends. In fact, I think I might have to take a seat too. Rest my ankle up a little bit. This week's parsha is Va'etchanan. Moses pleads with God to let him enter the land of Israel with the people, but God once more refuses his request. As you will recall from Parsha Chukat, after much complaining by Bnei Israel about the lack of water, Moses struck the rock instead of speaking to it as God had instructed. And so God said to Moses and Aaron, "Because you did not believe in me to sanctify me in the eyes of the children of Israel, therefore you shall not lead this assembly into the land which I promised to give them." There is much controversy among the commentators about why the punishment was so severe. Was it the culmination of many acts, the sheer lack of faith, the act of striking the rock displayed? Moses himself says, "I implored God to let me see this promised land, but God was angry with me because of you." I mean, honestly, I can understand his wanting to blame the children of Israel. Think about all he has been through on their behalf, from getting them out of Egypt to the golden calf incident, the constant complaining, and all the interaction with the Almighty that he did because they were afraid of fire. Surely, after a lifetime of going above and beyond what can only be described as parenting them, he deserved to enter the promised land. Still, as we read on in Ve'et Hanan, we see that it wasn't meant to be. So he does what any good parent does. He reminds them that they should do better. He orders them to pay attention and follow the laws given by God in order to be worthy of the land that they are about to receive. He retells his experience of the Ten Commandments, and he speaks the words of the Shema and commands Israel to show their love for Adonai and keep God's laws and ordinances. And at first glance, this seems pretty straightforward. As parents, we want better for our kids. Learn from my mistakes. I want you to have what I never had as a kid. As long as I know you will make it to the promised land that I've been told all about and worked so hard to get to for my entire life, now I know that I will never see. That's good enough for me. I got to thinking about the kind of anger and loss that Moses must have felt and how he managed to heal enough to accept this fate and still do all he could to prepare the people to enter Eretz Israel. Are any of you familiar with B.T. Harmon? That's okay, I'm going to tell you all about him. You should check out his website if you get a chance. But the short story is that he grew up a child in a Southern Baptist conservative home, and he is still a Southern Baptist. He's made a podcast about coming out as a gay man, and it's been downloaded more than 1 million times. He's also a marketing strategist, and he has a podcast about an Atlanta true crime called Catlick. How I got to hear about him was through a podcast that a friend shared with me called Evolving Faith. The particular episode I listened to was Habitual Gratitude with B.T. Harmon. It begins with a series of things that have caused him terrible pain and caused him to be increasingly angry, much of which has to do with the way he and so many others are treated because they are gay. His anger completely took over him. His emotional energy was focused on being angry all the time. So he decided to channel this energy into a different practice, habitual gratitude, the repeated discipline of gratitude. It has completely changed him. While there is religious direction we are given throughout biblical text, it turns out that there is scientific evidence that gratitude is associated with greater happiness, can improve our health, and helps to build strong relationships. And gratitude acts as a psychic antidote to materialism. What I am sharing with you here is a simplified description, but I hope that you will appreciate the impact of the practice. While B.T. Harmon has designated types of gratitude into 4 categories, there are 2 that he focuses on. The first is compare down. Constantly comparing our lives to those we think have it better can be incredibly depressing. This is called comparing up. What we should do is compare down to those who are not as fortunate. Not look down, but compare our lives to those who have had it worse than us, and therefore become aware of how fortunate we are. He uses history as a way to accomplish this. Thank goodness he didn't have to figure out how to domesticate cats and dogs, for example. The second is cultivated awareness, reminding ourselves regularly of what we can be grateful for, and working hard so that gratitude becomes an auto response. He gave his top examples of what he is grateful for today, my favorite of which was being grateful for stepping in gum because it reminds him that he owns a pair of shoes. He encourages people that as they work through their pain, to leave room for gratitude. It will help to heal in a more complete and gratifying way. I am now hooked on habitual gratitude. Many of you will know that over the years, if things have been tough and you ask me how I'm doing, I'll reply, I'm breathing, meaning that it could be worse, but at least I'm alive. So after some pretty tough challenges recently, a busted foot, then a busted finger, then busted the other foot, a car accident, just to name a few, I felt myself feeling a bit sorry for myself, and I've been angry that I can't be as active as I would like to, among other things. I have felt broken in many ways. So when I think about Moses and how he must have felt about never entering the land he worked so hard to get to, and then his acceptance of it and his ability to flip from blaming the children of Israel to giving them a final pep talk and reminder of the rules, I wonder if he too embraced gratitude. Perhaps he was grateful that it was he who received the Ten Commandments at Sinai, and for being the only one who wasn't afraid to engage with God as fire. Did he show gratitude for being the only intermediary between the people and God? Did he realize what a special thing that was? Did his gratitude help him heal? Maybe. I'm not sure how else he could have come to terms with such disappointment. I'd like to end my little drash tonight with what I am grateful for today, in the hopes that it will encourage you to join me in embracing habitual gratitude. Number 1, I am grateful that the thought of my daughter moving to college to study education, because it means that I have brought someone into this world who cares about the future of our children. Number 2, I'm grateful that I break into tears at the thought of my daughter leaving home, because it means that I have a heart that knows the love of my child. Number 3, I am grateful to be a part of this congregation, because I have been blessed to experience and truly understand what the expression, "it takes a village," really means. Number 4, and I am grateful to have felt broken, because I know now that I can heal and become whole again. Shabbat Shalom. We have reached the time in our service to pray for those in need of healing of body, mind, and spirit. We pray for Ethan Shields, Lisa Sherry, Fernando Casillas, Naomi Harris, Evan Fergenbaum, Gwen asked me to take her off, Audrey Williams, Kurt Reamer, Susan Stauber, Leslie Diaz, Jeanette Irie, Jenny Engelbrecht Barbarino, Megan Lagasse Vanderlei, Tim Lyons, Marjorie Gilberg, Bronwyn Farrell, Hub Chasen, Alan Sussman, Edwin Fleet, Amy Jackson, Jane Lecter, Diana Fernandez, Christine Webb, Alan Webb, David Greenberg, David Priceman, Selma Samansky, and Faye Barnett. Are there any other names to lift for healing? Yes, Rhea?
I want to say, especially again, Up Chasing, and also Michelle Holland and Bill Walker.
We'll turn to page 253 to lift their names for healing. Misheberach Avotenu Mikor HaBracha Li'imotenu. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen. Misheberach imotenu mikor habracha li'avotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say Amen. So tonight, I'd like to ask if you have something that you are grateful for, to please raise your hand. Yes. Marvin? Oh, happy anniversary. You have a week to make sure you get the number right, don't worry. Oh, thank you. Oh, good. Well, I hope you'll join me on that habitual gratitude journey, Marvin. Yes, Lois.
I want to stand and say that Andre Goldberg, who I met here at Temple in August of 19, he was getting a doctorate in music. His piano performance at FSU, many of you have known him. And he was so special. And he was here in town today, and we spent the afternoon lunch at Havana's and the afternoon together. And he played my piano, which was just tuned by the man who tunes and Temple piano. Anyway, it's just such a blessing to be with him again.
That's wonderful, Lois.
New York City, southern Israel, southern
Brazil.
to New York City. So we'll be
Wow. Good for him. Wonderful. Thanks for sharing that, Lois.
extended his wishes, you and David.
Oh, that's very nice. Anyone else have anything? Yes. Hi, Amy. Oh, well, we're so glad to have you here with us. Anyone else? Lee, you had your hand raised.
I'm grateful that it's my mom's birthday later this month.
Oh, happy birthday to Lee's mama. Anyone else? Yes, Christine. Me too. I am grateful that we're back to having on-Hallett services so much. That makes me so happy. And I'm grateful to my friend Lee, who is going to step in on Sunday for our wacky, wonderful change around for religious school because the air conditioning was fixed and then it's not again. So we're going to have a fun time in the sanctuary with our students, and Lee is going to help me lead a really fun tefillah. So I'm grateful for him and all of the other talent we have in this congregation. So what I'd like to do is ask my friend Lee to come up and open the doors to the ark, and if everyone would please rise and turn to page 282 for Aleinu. Aleinu Shabbat Ladon HaKol Latetu La'yotzer Breshit Shelo Asanu Kigoi Haratzot Velo Samanu K'mishpachot Adama Shelo Samcho Kenukahem V'gor Aleinu Kechol Hamonam V'anachnu Korim U'mishtachavim U'modim Lifnei Melech Malchei HaMelachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu Shehu Notei Shamayim V'Yoser Haaretz U'Moshe V'Karo B'Shamayim Imav U'Shtinatu Zo V'Govei Meromim Hu Eloheinu Eino Emet Malkeinu V'Tzulato Kakatu B'Torato V'yadata yom v'ashevota elevavecha Hi Adonai hu Elohim b'shamayim imav v'haaretz mitachat eino v'nemar v'haya Adonai l'melech al kol haaretz Vayom hahu, yeh Adonai echad, u'shemo echad. In nature's ebb and flow, you may be seated, friends. God's eternal law abides. When tears dim our vision of grief, or grief clouds our understanding, we often lose sight of God's eternal plan. Yet we know that growth and decay, life and death, all reveal a divine purpose. God, who is our support in the struggles of life, is also our hope in death. We have set God before us and shall not despair. In God's hands are the souls of all the living and the spirits of all flesh. Under God's protection we abide, and by God's love are we comforted. O life of our life, soul of our soul, cause your light to shine into our hearts and fill our spirits with abiding trust in you. We are in Shloshim for Henry Molina III, son of Mimi and brother of Alex. For Gail Slavin, wife of Charles Slavin, and for Rosa Israel, grandmother of Lee. We remember the yahrzeit of Joseph M. Idelson, Marvin Sussman, Milton Lockenbach, Adolf Taman, Robert I. Greenberg, Frank M. Happ, Leonard Wallach, Elizabeth W. Ewing, Belle Morris, Herbert Cohn, Moses Mendel Mendelsohn, and Joshua Richard. Are there other names to remember this evening? And we'll rise with our mourners, as is our custom, and turn to page 294 for Kadishato. Yitkadal v'yikadash shemei rabba, amen. V'yalmal divrach yirutei v'yamlich malchutei, v'chayechon uv'yomechon uv'chayed z'chobet Yisrael, v'agala v'zman kari v'imru, amen. Yehei shmei rabba mevarach v'olam v'lamei almaya, Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitzpa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shemei d'kudashah b'richu, le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, ta'amiran be'alma v'imru, amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru, amen. Oseh shalom b'mramav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru, amen. You may be seated, friends. Do we have a board member in the room? No. Okay. I'll read the announcements then. Shabbat morning service will be tomorrow at 10 a.m. and led by Lee and Rebecca Israel. So I encourage you to come in person or to watch on Facebook Live. They lead a wonderful service. Temple's open house and religious school are this Sunday, August 14th, beginning at 10:30. 9:45 if you are a religious school family. Come and meet new friends and catch up with old ones. We'll have all of our committees and auxiliary groups there so you can find out what is new at Temple. And of course, there will be lots of Nash. And again, just a reminder for those coming for religious school, come at 9:45 if you are new to our religious school so that you can meet some folks, but we will be staying in the sanctuary and doing some fun activities here before going into the Diamond Family Social Hall for some fun and Nash. Celebrate the return to school with back to school Havdalah and hot dogs on Saturday, August 20th at 6 p.m. Maura Bryan will lead us in song and will bring in the new week together. And you can see the Temple Times and the Facebook event for details. We do require an RSVP so we know how many hot dogs to buy. And you don't have to be in school to come. You just have to come celebrate with us. The Big Bend Jewish Social Club is having a concert at Temple Israel on Sunday, August 28th at 4:30 p.m. You can come join me and Angel Diarmendi for a cello and piano concert and conversation on the melodies of our High Holy Days. Afterwards, there will be a light dessert prepared by Leah's Sweet Treats. And please mark your calendars for an upcoming program called Envisioning Prayer and Designing Proverbs, and that'll be at 6:30 p.m. on September 15th. And this is a program where your creative side gets to meet your spiritual side. And more details and registration are coming with that soon. And there's a whole bunch of adult ed stuff coming up too that you will find out about. But I'm not going to tell you tonight because you have to come to open house to find out. Okay. See what I did there? Yeah. Okay. Lee, would you please come and lead Motzi? Thank you. It's so good to have friends. I'm grateful to have friends that can come in and help me and help you all. Can I see? Oh, they can see you. That's good. Okay, ready?
Hamotzi lachem min haaretz. We give thanks to God for bread. Our voices rise in song together as a joyful prayer is said. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Amen.
And our closing song tonight is going to be on page 326. I want to encourage you, before we head over into the Diamond Family Social Hall for a yummy oneg, if you've never seen me before and I've never seen you before, please come say hi to me so I can introduce myself. And my friends in the congregation who are here a lot, if you see people that you don't recognize, please run up to them and make them feel welcome. Don't scare them off. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, page 326. Is that right? That's not right. No, that's not what page Ein Kelohenu is on in this book. 322 in this book. That's so weird. Yes, you're looking at the Ladino version. This should be 322, Ein Kelohenu. You know the words. Ein Kelohenu, Ein Kadonenu, Ein Kemokenu, Ein Kemoshienu, Michelohenu, Michadonenu, Michemokenu, Michemoshienu, Nodel Eloheinu, Nodel Adonenu, Nodel Emokenu, Nodel Emoshienu, Baruch Eloheinu, Baruch Adonenu, Baruch Mokenu, Baruch Moshienu, Atahu Eloheinu, Atahu Adonenu, Atahu Mokenu, Atahu Moshienu. Shabbat Shalom.